over 350,000 followers on Instagram alone. I think on Facebook, I have about 300,000. On TikTok, about 300,000 as well. And I have not made a single post. I have not told a single person that I am now creating long-form content. I am now on YouTube. I have to be one of the craziest or strangest people I have ever met, because it doesn't make sense, right? We have to. Normally, people will bring their communities here, but for me, it's a clean slate. Nobody knows me here. Me, I'm just on a low doing my thing. Nobody's judging me based on clean slate. And so, if you are listening or watching my content here on YouTube, you are literally what we refer to as OG. You will be the OG one day, right? Because I want to say we're going to blow up, but I don't want to feel myself, you understand? So I'll just keep it modest, keep it humble. But you are going to be referred as my day ones. You are literally the day ones of this community right here. So if you're yet to subscribe, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Smash it like it is making you angry. And if you are a follower of Elik, maybe you've somehow found me here. You know that it is not a wasted adventure to like the video even before watching it, because it's going to make sense, right? But let's get into it. I know you may think that the title is clickbait. Which one is how to hate correctly? I thought hate was supposed to be a bad thing. What do you mean how to hate correctly? But this hate thing, I don't think is entirely, and this is where we're going to start today's conversation. It's not that I don't think it's entirely bad. I know for a fact that if you know how to use hate and spite, these two things, if you know how and when to appropriate, how and when to appropriate them, you are going to have a more productive life, especially within the context of your interactions with other people. And this is what I mean. Recently, or not just recently, I think today I posted a piece of content on Instagram, and I was talking about this Samuel Onuoha guy that got arrested by the police in, somewhere in the Middle East over one thing or the other. And this person has been very loud about their lifestyle, calling people out for not having as much as they have. What do you mean that you're a man, you've never driven Rambo? You understand? Not Sylvester Stallone, Rambo as in, you know what I mean by Rambo. Rambo as the car, not the person, right? You have never driven Rambo. You have not, you don't have this, you don't have that. What is in between your legs? Are you sure you're even a man? And when we see stuff like this, especially if you have any kind of sense going on in your head, the natural response that you will have to something like that is disgust. You may disapprove of it. You may not like it. But there are some people that are also consuming this thing. And this is why we speak. When we speak, there are some people that are consuming this thing that actually are intimidated by it, are pressured by it. So it's not enough that you have this natural response, you are annoyed by it, you are provoked by it. It's not enough that you don't like what they're doing. You must understand how the structure of disapproval works. If it's going to work for you in terms of helping you keep to your values, helping you keep to your standards, and if you are going to be able to pass it on to your children. Because it's going to be incredibly sad that you have kids that are not exposed to the true reality of what life looks like. And what I mean by that is the way that the world is going right now, we're going to have a bunch of kids who come on the internet, who come of age or get to a certain stage in their lives. They have access to the internet, and they're going to start consuming stuff that is put out there by a very loud minority. And this stuff is not representative of what life truly is about. So we're going to see a bunch of people who may be ultra rich or may be happy or, posing to be ultra rich. And then they're going to put out this reality and then say things like, are you a man if you have not done this? Are you really a woman if you've not done this? If you don't have this? If your man doesn't provide this? And that could very easily be seen by the unguided mind as the standard, right? They have no concept of average, of median, and then exceptions, outliers. They don't know these things. So when it's repeatedly presented by the wrong people with the wrong words, you're going to have a bunch of people who are, or a bunch of children who are growing up in a society that their idea of the world is largely twisted, not formed by the correct view. They don't even know how to view life. And so if you're going to save yourself, first of all, and you're going to be able to have an understanding of this system enough to be able to help those who come after you, it's important that you understand not only how to love what is right and accurate, but you must also have a firm grasp of how to hate. And this is, let me draw, because if you know me, you know I'm Christian. So let me draw, my entire life is based on biblical principles. If you look, without going deep into scripture, if you look at some of the positions that scripture suggests, you will see God saying something like, you will love the Lord your God, right? And you will hate sin. So it's that delicate balance. It's not one and the same. Don't get it twisted. It's not one and the same. That you love God does not directly translate to that you hate sin. It is not enough that your life is upright. It's not enough that you live a certain way, you avoid certain things, that you don't indulge in certain practices. A certain level of spite for those that do. Scriptures affirm this, teach this, instruct this, that not only the people, that when God's wrath comes to be visited on those that work on righteousness or work, that do wickedly, it's not just coming on those that do those things, but it will also come on those that love or that take pleasure or that are beneficiaries from that pool, right? So I don't involve myself in this. I don't involve myself in that. But I'm not judging, I'm not judging. And because I'm not judging, I can have friends who do those things, and to each his own, right? To each his own. Let everybody just do what works for them. That's not how the world works. That system of unrighteousness is banking on you to have that disposition in order to spread. Because if you are that lax about judging these things, about seeing these things in the light that your morals, your values teach you to see them, then what comes after you will be even more diluted than you are. This is just the way that the world works. Okay, let's go over that again, right? You love this and you don't, maybe let's say you don't take bribes or you don't sleep with people's wives, something like that. But you know that you have a friend who is constantly, not only is he a philanderer, this person is always bragging about that kind of a thing. Or maybe he's not even married. Inside the campus, your group of friends, things like that. You don't indulge in this, but in your friend group, there are people who, there's one person, there are two people who consistently put themselves in situations that violate your code. And you don't say nothing because let everybody do what works for them. Do you, I do me, I don't. And most times it's because there's this urge in you to be politically correct. Make people no talk, say they do too much. And so you let some of these things slide. That's how spineless people behave. And that's not you. That's not the life that you want for yourself. A life that is being shaped, constantly being ordered by what is popular on social media. I don't want to offend the construct. I don't want to offend the hierarchy. I don't want to move against the grain. And so I'm fine. Even though you're not really fine with it, I'm fine with it. It's okay. I'm fine with it. I mean, that's him now. It's not really our problem, right? I need you to understand this. If this is going to outlast you, if you're going to be able to hand over a legacy that fights this system, because whether you like it or not, we are in a fight. Denying the existence of the conflict of interest, the conflict of morals, is just putting yourself in the line of fire. You will be a casualty. So the first thing is acknowledge that you are in a conflict. And when you acknowledge that you are in a conflict, what's next? You are not only committed to strengthening yourself, you are also committed to teaching those who come after you how to avoid this. And that brings me to the core of the conversation. How exactly can you pass this on? If love is not enough, how can we incorporate spite? And this is why hate is so important. This is why spite is so important. If you are a middle class man, you don't have a lot of money, lower middle class, middle class, even upper middle class, there are people, upper middle class people like to take their children into spaces where they meet more, influential, and then your children are exposed to pressure. It's not enough that you can say to your child, do not be pressured by these things. It's not enough. Because what you're doing is you are teaching this child how to stay neutral in the face of an advancing army, it's not enough. They can only not be pressured for so long before that advancement begins to chip away at their convictions until they cave. And so the child, and that's what we can see, the child who survives pre-teens, even early teens, not caving into these pressures. They get into the university, move away from home. Maybe they are living on campus, or they are now closer to the teen. It don't they hit up 1 year, 2 years, by 300 level, you can't recognize the child again because that neutrality was just not enough to keep that onslaught away. So it's got to be aura for aura. So you teach a child, this is not who we are. We don't behave like this. Right? We don't think like this. Where we come from, we are content. We are content with the things that we have. The people who see things in another light. And you may call this indoctrination, call it whatever you want to, but this is how systems advance. The people who see things differently from us, they are ignorant. Because let me tell you, I will say the thing that people don't want to say. Somebody may shy away from saying this thing online because of fear. May they not talk, say, you are just brainwashing the child. The system that you are in conflict with is actively doing this. Now they lose guard. The people who don't see things from this perspective, they are number one, ignorant. Those who want to assess the substance of your life, those who want to measure how much of a human being you are, how worthy of association you are, whether or not you can be in their clique based on how much your papa gets, based on the car where you drive come office, based on the gold jewelry you have on your neck, or if you have a Swiss bank account, how many Bitcoin did that wallet sell? Any small thing, they don't ask you where they talk, how much you get. Those people are ignorant. It's not just enough to tell the kid, don't talk like this. Don't be like this. Don't act like this. Don't think like this. It's not enough. Those who think like that, you must educate them that these people are ignorant. That's number one. Number two, what that does is that it teaches the child that when they see people who do that, they not only do not get intimidated. That's level one. That's where many of us stop. And that's why we're grossly losing the push. Number two, they feel pity for those who do that. So you can see a 13-year-old boy full of confidence. He's not just resisting, he's confident in his stance. In the midst of people who they assess their lives based on what they have. And not only is he not intimidated, even a 9-year-old, not only is he not intimidated by them and by the things they are saying and by the cash they are bringing to school. Trust children to do crazy things. Person go just they come school, thief in papa, the motorway he knows saying papa no go use that day. He go thief the car key, come school, just to show others. See, my father gets Rambo. Children do that. And then when your son now comes back to the house, he's looking at you and you're telling him how was school, he thinks he's looking at you like a goat. Where were you when other people's that you see that slang, where you day when Dangote they hustle. It speaks to the psyche, the defeated mentality of the people who are speaking. And so when that's your boy, when that your young girl, who in the midst of all the big babes around, they tell and say, oh my, you know go follow us go this thing. You just they waste your life. See the phone where you they use 3 years ago phone. We they use next year phone. And that boy don't they look your side. Give him what he wants. Now you know he's able. In the midst of those things, not only are they not intimidated, they have, because they acknowledge or because they have been taught that this is ignorance. They are not only not intimidated, but they are seeing those people as people in need of education. How do you get intimidated by those who you know are lacking in logic, in wisdom, and in ability to understand, to process, and to live life according to basic human English is failing me, I'm sorry. But you're getting what I'm saying, Abi. And so when I say how to hate correctly, it's not just clickbait. I'm telling you, it's that there's an education that only hate can give. Only spite can induce. You hate the vice. That bit of life, you hate it. Not just for the sake of hating it, but you hate it because of an education, because of an understanding that those other people, they do not possess. So I'm telling you this now. It's not just about refusing. How long can you refuse until the pressure starts to get to you. How long? Really, how long can you refuse? It's not just about the refusing. It's really about an understanding that I am not only going to refuse this, but the people who practice this. And that understanding has to be based on a system, a body of work, a body of knowledge that is higher than you are. The string of morals, your string of principles, that chain that binds you, that code, you hold it above yourself, was transferred down down to you from your father, from their father, and all that. You know that this is your creed, right? And that's the foundation upon which you build your life. And people who do not see things, why will people who have it wrong think of you as stupid and uneducated for having it right, and you don't reserve the right to see them as uneducated and worthy of pity for having it all wrong? Until we learn to feel genuine pity. Somebody, they try flash something for your front. You dey pity and based on say, this thing no be where life dey. Life deep past like this. That's when we will raise a crop of people. We will be a crop of people that are incorrigible. We can begin. I hope I know what incorrigible means. No. Hey, let's speak it aside. But we can begin to build society, to be models in society, and to build a society where we can be proud to live in and confident to leave our children in. I don't know if that make any kind of sense to you at all. This one is longer than my usual video, so let me lap it up here, okay? And I know you are grateful for this piece of knowledge and information, but don't mention. You are new here, so you don't know. We don't do that here. Don't mention. It's been your guy, Eli Kumwa. If you are yet to subscribe, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, I want to know what you're thinking, what you think about this, and maybe what we should talk about next in the video. Put it in the comments. And me, I used to reply on YouTube. So put it down in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.